Yo, what's up guys? Old School Dan here, your old school bodybuilding coach. And something I want to share with you today is something I personally came up with. I call it the 3 pillars of a classic physique. So, if you're trying to build a classic physique, you're going to want to make sure you follow these 3 pillars I'm about to share with you right now. Alright, so here it is. I put it in a form of a triad. So, in the triad, we got proportions, we have symmetry, we have aesthetics, okay? Now there's one thing that's missing from this triad that I don't want to share right now, but you're gonna figure it out later on. So, for example, let's take Sergeant Bray's physique for example, right? He's got the aesthetics, he's ripped, he's got the symmetry, he's got the wide shoulders, the small waist, the big calves, he's got the proportions, he has the nice chest that matches the arms. You know, his arms aren't too small for his chest. You know, his calves are big enough to match his quads, so that creates one line, right? Now, think about this. What is one difference between bodybuilding and classic bodybuilding, right? And it's also the same thing that's missing in the triad. Mass, right? That's like the only difference between classic bodybuilding and bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is basically bodybuilding but with more mass. Classic bodybuilding is, you know, they focus more on the aesthetics, proportions, and symmetry. Not so much on the mass. I mean, yes, they have mass, but it's not overly done like it is in bodybuilding. Now, Sergeant Bray, I'm not saying he doesn't have mass. He has mass, but it's just not overly done. You know what I mean, right? That makes a lot of sense. That's the only thing that's missing from the triad. You got symmetry, proportions, and aesthetics, right? That's mainly what a lot of the bodybuilders back then focused on. They didn't want to get bigger for the sake of being bigger. Steve Reeves didn't want to be bigger just to be bigger. That's all bodybuilders care about nowadays. It's just, oh, I need to be bigger. Oh, Phil Heath got bigger this year. I need to get bigger. So then everybody has to rise to that standard. You know, they don't really emphasize the symmetry, the aesthetics. Like, oh, I want my physique to be, you know, relatable. Like, oh, I want people to look at me and say, oh, I would love to look like that. Now it's very repulsive. People see their physique and it's like, I don't really want to look like that. But when you see classic bodybuilders like, you know, Arnold, Frank Zane, Steve Reeves, you know, that kind of, so that's more relatable and people like that more. It looks more aesthetic to the eye. You know, it's got the nice symmetry, the aesthetics, proportions. Steve Reeves, when you saw him on the beach, people followed him. A whole crowd of people followed him because he had such a nice body. Guys were like, oh, I would love to have a body like him. When you see Phil Heath walking down the beach, people are like, oh my gosh, that guy's huge. Look at his biceps, look at his legs, he's so massive. Not a lot of people look at that and say, I want to look like that, right? When you see Steve Reeves, everybody want to be like Steve Reeves. You ask Frank Zane or a lot of the bodybuilders who their favorite bodybuilder was, and most of them, not most of them, but a couple of them are going to say Steve Reeves. Arnold liked Reg Park more, but anyways, yeah. So if you're trying to build a classic physique, pay attention to these 3 things. You know, the symmetry. Do you have the wide shoulders, the small waist, the big calves? You know, the wide lats. Do you have the proportions? Do you have the calves that are big enough to match your quads, that you don't have bigger quads in your calves? Do you have the aesthetics? Are you somewhat ripped? Do you have some shape or definition to you, right? You can't just be smooth. Like, and you know what? Actually, a lot of the bodybuilders from like the 50s, they had more of a smooth look and not so much as a refined look, but you know, you still want to have some definition, right? Okay, so with that being said, I hope this video helped you out a lot. I hope that it cleared out a lot of things, you know. With that being said, subscribe for more videos like this. Give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm Old School Dan. I'm gone. Peace.